So many people feel like when they're in a wildfire that they have no other options than to evacuate. But I can tell you that there are other options. In fact, I have this report here. This was written by the U.S. Department of Agriculture and Forest Service in May of 2003. So this was a really long time ago. But in this report, they talk about how to build a wildfire shelter. They actually called them new generation shelters. I'm going to give you a nice close look at that right there. But in looking at these shelters, these ones here, the ones that you see here are ones that are meant to be deployed in a portable sense. So a group of firefighters who are fighting a particular fire suddenly get overcome by flames, they can deploy these portable ones. But what about ones where we have to do them at home or where they have to last you more than just a few minutes? A lot of people feel like you just have to have one of these, like a mask. And a mask is great. In fact, this particular mask, I have this mask. This is from my disaster kit. And this mask is specifically designed. This is actually what we call a NIOSH one. So this is from the National Institutes of Occupational Safety and Health. And these ones are certified. This is an N95 mask that you can use that will actually filter out smoke. So when I'm actually using this mask, this will help prevent smoke from getting into my lungs. The other option people find are fire blankets, just like this right here. There's a lot of these on the market. Some of them are good, some of them are not good. So if you don't have these options, and even when you do, these are not going to be sufficient in all cases. So even if you have a fire blanket, that's not going to be enough. There's going to be instances where this is not going to be enough. So what do you do when you have to stay in a temporary shelter for a long time? I'm not talking about just a few minutes or maybe 10 or 20 minutes if you're a wildland firefighter. I'm talking about what if you are waiting for firefighters to come for over an hour and a half? What do you do then? What do you do in that 105 minutes that the McChrystal group was talking about when they were discussing the wildfire response to the Palisades and Eaton fires? So what I'm going to show you here is the theoretical elements of what this structure we are going to build is going to be about. This structure is going to be built entirely out of school supplies. No adult supplies. All the supplies that I'm using for this structure right here that we're going to build are things you could find in any elementary school classroom in America, anywhere. And each one of these supplies are going to be used and are going to be constantly assaulted by three different elements. These three elements are the three elements that you must protect against if you build any kind of wildfire shelter. And you will find that this mask would not be enough for that. You would find that this blanket is not going to be enough for that. So let me kind of talk to you, because now that we've gone through the workshop and we've started to build the different portions, when we put them together, the question is, why do they work? How do they work? That's what I'm going to be talking to you about today. So this is our wildfire shelter here. It's a nice cube. It's pretty easy to see here. So what are the three major hazards in a wildfire? Well, the obvious one is flames, right? So we're so used to that, right? So we're worried about potentially the box catching fire. That's the last thing we want. So we've got to protect against flames. And when we were in the workshop, we did find that we were able to create a specific aluminum foil, and the way that we put it together, you have to check it out on my main channel, exactly how we were able to prevent it from catching fire. Now, flames are huge, right? Flames are a big deal because if the structure catches fire, nothing else matters. The masks don't matter. The protection for anything else doesn't matter, but the structure has to protect against flames. So we realize that. But accompanying flames is heat. And so many people forget about how hot it gets. These flames are going to be producing heat up to 1,200 degrees Fahrenheit. That is going to be assaulting the box from multiple angles, because you're going to have heat, because the wildfire is likely not to come from just one side. You're also going to have fire over here. They're also going to be in the trees where things are going to be all the way around. So the question is, how is it going to continue to assault the box? It's because things around it are going to continue to combust. The more combustion there is, the more that it's going to attack this box. You're also going to have it up here with the trees that are also on fire. And as those come, they will assault the box from the top. But that's not it, because you have the ground. The ground is also going to get incredibly hot. So the heat is going to assault the ground. As it does, it's going to assault the box from the bottom. So I have to make sure that that 1-inch layer that I've created also works at the bottom of this box. That is so important to protect this from the convective heat. And air is a terrible, terrible way of moving heat from one place to another. So when we use that space, that 1-inch space that we've created on the box, we're just going to create just that little bit extra by doing that, just like that. Now we have that 1-inch space in between. That's going to prevent that heat from entering into that structure and roasting me, particularly since I'm going to be spending some time into this box. But then the last thing, the thing that I think a lot of people forget, is it's not just flames and it isn't just heat, it's smoke. Smoke is a massive hazard because if you begin to inhale smoke, it's going to start displacing oxygen. It's going to put you in a place where that is potentially a life-threatening emergency, especially if you have things like what we call respiratory compromise. So you have asthma, emphysema, COPD, you have some previous lung infection. Anything could aggravate it. So we have to have something to prevent it from assaulting your lungs because the smoke is going to be coming everywhere. It's going to be coming up here, it's going to be coming down here, it's going to be on all sides. The box is going to be under constant assault from every single direction with smoke. And we have to prevent it from getting inside because we cannot inhale this smoke because the more we do, the more impact it's going to have on the way that we live and the greater the hazard becomes. So we have to ensure that this box prevents smoke from entering it as much as we can. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect. So one of the things that we've done, you guys saw this in the lab, is that we built 3-inch each side. So we had 3-inch here and 3-inch here. We create a very, very small hole, which we put into the box. And in front of it, we had, remember, we had that sock with the charcoal and we had the coffee filters. That's going to prevent particulate matter, that's going to prevent smoke. It's going to act as a protective seal because you don't want this to become a vacuum. You have to have some positive pressure from the outside because of the change in temperature coming in to ensure that you have a fully protected box, because in a real wildfire, there's so many things going to be happening. One last thing, it is going to be the entire atmosphere around it. It's going to be windy, it's going to be extremely assaultive onto this box. So we have to ensure we have the lattice structure, the one that we used with yardsticks to protect ourselves in any wildfire shelter, because that 105 minutes is going to be so important from the moment that we detect that wildfire, from the time that the rescuers hopefully arrive.